What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another live Junkyard Breaks. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, bro? It's
Same
been
old,
days.
living the life. I know, it's only been a few days.
It's been days, and half our crew got wiped out by COVID.
Yeah, Jimmy and his whole family got COVID, and Chris.
Our mom too. Our mom.
Oh, your
Our
mom
mom
got it
got.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Ouch. And then yeah, Chris I think is still working. So it's just you
yeah,
and me. But you and me are the most talkative ones anyway, so.
this is true. This is true.
So what?
I'm literally bagging and boarding as we're talking.
Yeah,
So
I spent the last few days putting I this is amazing that I've even gotten this far. I literally have 3 long boxes left to put on CLZ and I'm done cataloging my entire collection,
wow. Okay.
which I
Now is
thought would take me
that
forever.
includes everything that's in your other room that it isn't necessarily that you may sell still?
Everything.
Okay.
Everything.
Any like big surprises? Like, oh my god, I forgot I even had this
There's a
book.
lot I forgot I had. Yeah. There's some good ones too. Not only, yeah, there were a few. Um
Now, your other room, that was like the last couple years of books, right? Like the last couple years of new
most of
pictures?
them were 3 long boxes down there on its side.
Okay.
And one of the books that I thought was going to be in there wasn't, and I haven't found it yet.
What's
Is
that?
my Something's Killing the Children #1. So
Okay.
I know I have it. It's just it's in those 3 boxes in front of me right now. So I just have to, once I scan those 3, I'll know where that is.
Did you stumble across any Ultimate Fallout 4s that you forgot you had, or Edge of Spider-Verse 2s you forgot you had?
Well, I did find the 2 second prints, both versions.
Both books, you mean? Edge of Spider-Verse and
No, Ultimate Fallout 4s. So I have the one
the
where the
Pacelli's,
the Pacelli version and the regular version with the, you could see his head.
yeah. I think I really need to pull the trigger and get a Pacelli,
Yeah, it's a good
because
buy. You could probably get one for $125,
yeah, it's
150
interesting. I
bucks.
don't think that book has seen like the kind of regression or re- recession
It
that
has.
a lot of other books have seen.
No, it has. Even on my
Has it?
CLZ, I'm seeing Ultimate Fallout drop and drop. But
Okay,
that's not a bad thing because I that just makes you want to buy more.
sure.
That book is gonna go bananas when he gets announced for live action. I have
Yeah,
no concerns about that book.
yeah. I have a feeling too that second Into the Spider Verse is going to be probably just as good as first, and I don't think they're going to miss the mark on that. You
No,
know,
no, no, I don't either.
um,
But yeah, I mean, were there surprises? Surprises. I had 3 Stray Dog ones. I only thought I had one.
oh, there
That
you go.
that was nice. I had
All cover A.
and 1 Silence of the Lambs. So 4.
I
Um
am happy that I got mine graded when I did.
yeah.
Came back a 9. I mean, it came back a 9.8. Obviously, not worth nearly what it was
No.
worth. Like when I first submitted it, and but I bought it off the newsstand, so it's
Yeah.
and that's not a book I'm looking to flip anyway right now. So
I really
uh,
I love CLZ because unlike Key Collector, I know in the runs whether they're major keys or minor keys. So I could look at my entire long box on the screen and know which ones I should pick out if I want to sell the long box, and then leave some stuff that's good in there but take out the
sure.
majors.
So
So
wait, does it denote between major key, minor key?
yeah, major key is a yellow key, minor key is a blue key.
And what is that what is that line of demarcation? How do they
Yeah,
determine what
that's
is a major or minor?
that's a great question. I don't know. What's a minor key? I don't know.
I mean, generally speaking, right, minor keys are first appearances of, tangential characters, or they're maybe the change of a costume, or uh, you know, a cameo, but
Yeah,
not
an
non-named
artist for
cameo,
yeah, like
those kind of
Adam
things.
Hughes covers would be minor keys,
Sure, right, right.
stuff like
That
that.
makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think any first appearance, but like, maybe everybody had first appeared already and it's like a team joining, or something like that, or a character that's already been introduced but they got a new costume. I think that'd be like a minor key.
I
Um,
like that as a concept. They'd
but when
already first appeared.
but when I look at my major key list, I only have, I think it was 41
Total?
total. 41 major keys.
That's insane. How is that even possible?
You guys have different backgrounds. Different backgrounds.
Different backgrounds? What does he mean?
I don't know what that means.
Oh, I have to be looking at him.
Yeah,
I
he'll have to say Refaust. What does that mean? Like I am Italian, French, Spanish.
Yeah, I would say we're Italian, Irish, German, Dutch, probably. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, behind us. Yeah. Well,
well, I have the normal background, but my apartment has very leaky windows, so I had to seal the I had to seal the window. So
oh,
this
is
is
that what that is?
yes, my very specific way of sealing those windows, and then I had to make sure that my blue painter's tape was relatively straight because I've got problems.
That's a
So
pretty fancy ceiling. I mean, it's pretty
yeah,
tight. Does it do the trick?
it certainly does the trick. Yeah, I mean the so this I rent half a house, and this house was built in like '49. So the everything's pretty cool about it because the updates in the kitchen were like from the '60s. So I have like aluminum cabinets and stuff like that. But the windows, those are not a cool non-update. So
Yeah.
you know, it's getting cold and they're freezing.
We have different backgrounds behind us on camera. I don't even know what that means. I'm in my house and you're in your house.
Yep. I mean, this is where I always basically talk from. Maybe is it just he's a different angle?
I don't know. Is Zoom doing something to our backgrounds? Like, is it that I don't know about?
I don't know.
I don't either. Anyway, I hope we look cool.
Only time will tell. I'm waiting with bated breath to see what comes
Yeah, I
next.
can't wait to see the playback. So maybe it's just been a long time. Oh
That's
yeah,
really
well
funny.
that's true. Cause Jason's usually, what are you at your kitchen table with your green
No, I
background?
mean, I would say well, I have been there before, but like the last 5 or 6 times. Now, what Ralph would probably see is like this was all behind me was my curtain. It was all Nate like denim, like a denim
Maybe.
curtain. So that would be a stark difference.
Maybe.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. I mean,
So how
but
you
Chuck
doing,
D, I mean,
Faust?
Chuck D's always there.
Yeah, he was
I'm,
always there. How
I'm
was
really bad at pointing on the Zoom.
Faust? How was Thanksgiving? Good. All right, so yeah, Chris won't make it. He's working. Oh, working for a living.
Um,
So
I
what'd you get?
am.
Anything good?
I still have. I mean, I still
What are you
have.
bagging and boarding? That collection you bought like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah,
Really? Still?
it's like it was like 12 long boxes.
Oh, I'm
Like
sorry, man. I hope she gets better.
it it yeah
You say 12?
uh yeah
Oh, that's the
they
biggest
told me,
collection you've ever bought then.
yeah, they told me it was 2,000 books. It is not 2,000 books. It is certainly closer to 3,000 books. So
Well,
um
on average, you fit around 260 to 275 books in a long box.
yeah,
I know that because of CLZ. So
so that
that's at
means 12
least
long boxes would be,
2,700 and another 500. So yeah, you're 30.
yeah, so I still have 5 complete long boxes in the basement from it that I haven't I flipped through, but essentially what I'm doing is bagging, boarding all major titles, runs of major titles. I think the thing that I've been most interested about in going through this is that I was really surprised at like the just the overall value of some back issues, in early, like even early Web of Spider-Man and early Spectacular Spider-Man
Yeah.
runs, like back issues, in VF condition, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9 of some of those titles. Now I want to move them, so I don't think I'll charge 5, 6, 7, 8, $9.
No, but
But
you'll want to put a nice run together.
yeah, but and that's the thing. I've probably got 50 book, at least 50 book runs of like 10 to 15 of the most popular Marvel titles just out of this collection. So that's really good. The ASMs I'll keep. The Thors I'll probably just check and make sure Jimmy doesn't need books, and then move those. But Avengers, Spectacular, Web, X-Men, Fantastic Four. You name it, and all the different Spider-Man iterations. They were all in here. So, and just so many. I mean, I got 30 Turtles books from um, 30 Turtles books from frigging from the OG Turtle series. So,
Yeah.
Faust, no early 200s. The Avengers books start right around Nebula's first appearance, which is in here. So
Let me get my headphones.
255. The Web, but yeah, that's where the Avengers start. I'm assuming you're talking super early 200s, like 200. Yeah, I think I'm actually bagging Avengers books right now. So, like 255 is the first kind of issue in this run, and then there's it's pretty consistent. Probably 25 issues out of 40 issues, and then there we go.
What's up?
Ralph only needs 4 books to complete his Avengers 200 through 350.
Two. I need 201. Oh, let me see if I got any of those.
Are any of those actual keys or Faust, or are they just random books? I mean, I don't. None of those numbers jump out to me. But yeah, like I think I probably got 60 Hulk books, 75 or more Iron Man. Like just basically any title. The one thing, there wasn't a ton of Doctor Strange, and there wasn't a ton of Wolverine solo title, but crap tons of like Monica Rambeau.
Mm-hmm. Where's my Avenger? Oh,
Monica
Avengers.
Rambeau First Blood.
Let's see. He needs what numbers does he need?
201,
Don't have it.
221, 221,
I
222,
don't have it. Don't have
and
it.
227. 227, right? That's the white cover where Monica Rambeau's like this, I believe,
Oh.
which is a minor key.
Nope. But I'm not done yet. I haven't done entered everything, so I might have it, but no. Not cataloged yet.
You've not entered the
I
Rambo.
have not entered the Rambo. So
Uh,
that's what
yeah.
you.
So anyway, lots of that's what I'm still doing. I'm kind of going through all the major titles first. I'm selling at a market again this Saturday, so I want to have
Indoors,
kind
right?
of all. What's that?
Indoors.
Yeah. That's a good question. Yes, it is indoors. I'm selling. I just want to have like major title stuff, especially like $1, $2, $3 books, um, which I actually I don't really know. Kind of stuff that's got some spine ticks, but it is certainly not. It's still like certainly a solid copy for somebody's runs.
Yeah, sure, of course.
I'm making it. Those are $1, like straight up. Even if it's like a minor key, just making them $1, and then I will price the other books just to make sure. If they're like $10 in a VF, I probably won't make them $3, but most of my money on this collection is going to be made. I'm going to make a lot of money on this collection. I think
Good.
it'll be smaller increments, but over time.
And you were just shy of 1,000 on that collection? Eight,
I'm
800?
900,
900?
900. Yeah, that's what I paid. So I think I could get close, close to half back in the Turtles books, and then there was some random stuff in here that I found that's actually got some value. So um, this one's second print, but I got the Mouse Guard
Mm-hmm.
run. This is the second print, and then these are all the first prints. So
Yeah, I
it's
keep forgetting to list mine. I have to list them.
second book.
I think I almost want to read them first before I list them
Yeah,
because
they're cool.
it's a
They're
good
really
read.
nice. So this is book 3, and then I think book 5. Um, so these were in there. There was a couple of these gamer journals in there
Yeah, you
that
said that too. Like the
um,
playthrough books.
yeah, which actually I didn't have any idea, and I was only looking at completed listings on eBay and was shocked how much some of those go
Yeah, if
for.
you get some of the big games like Skyrim or Witcher 3 or like some of the Minecraft books, like
This one,
they have.
this one is like a $60 or $70 book, and that's what it regularly sells for.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think look at the price of it. It probably went for that much because they're not cheap. I remember I used to buy them. Me and my friend used to buy them for Tomb Raider every year because it had the complete walkthrough with all the puzzles and stuff, and they weren't
Okay.
cheap. They were like $50.
Yeah, well, they're enormous books. I mean,
They're very big.
so it looks like I can probably get around 150 for the books that are those that
Yeah.
were included. Um,
I mean, that's what
but
Chris was telling me about that collection. I had no idea that some of the trades are rare. Like those Star Wars Tales of the
yeah,
Jedi trades are like really low printed. I didn't know until I looked them up that some were like $100. I was like, whoa, whoa.
yeah. Well, did you get just trades though, or did you get some collected edition? Well, I mean, I guess most trades are somewhat of a collected edition, but
Yeah,
you
no,
didn't get any
they were
omnibus. There was
trade.
no like
No,
omnibus.
not omnibus. It was mostly trade paperbacks. The most collection was just regular comics.
Right.
It had almost every run of everything, but there was a nice little short box of trade paperbacks. But
And that was exclusively Star Wars, right? That's what the
well, it's
whole.
so funny too because that collection was exclusively Star Wars, but it had a first Why the Last Man.
Oh,
It had a
that's right.
first saga signed by Brian K. Vaughan, and then
Wow.
yeah, and it had a first. It had the Jock Joker cover, just that. No Batman, just that. There was that Detective Comics. What is it? 80
It,
whatever.
it's it's
801.
888, I believe.
Yeah, something like that. But I had that cover in there too. It's like three random mega keys. Like
Yeah, I was gonna say they're huge
those are
books.
big books. Like that Why the Last Man in a 9/8, and it's really nice condition. Well, I don't know, it's signature series. Probably goes for like 4 or 5, maybe $600, and that
Yeah.
Saga one goes for good money too.
The Saga
So
one would go. Yeah, I guess though, unfortunately, you'd have to send it to. It's not a graded book, right? You'd have to send it to CBCS.
yeah, it has the certificate, but I'm gonna wait because I think do I have it right? Is it CGC or is it PSA for cards is coming around on autograph stuff? I think it's CGC. Minhunter was just saying something about that to compete with CBCS, that they're going to start
And I'll,
developing a an authentication program. So maybe I'll wait for that because obviously I'd like a yellow tag on that one. It has a
sure.
certificate of authenticity with image, so it's like a legit book. They did the signing, but I don't know. I
Um,
mean,
I have been watching. I am like reluctant to pull the trigger, but I have been watching a lot of graded copies of The Last of Us on eBay right now
yeah,
because I believe in pretty much any HBO property that comes out, like a show that comes out.
sure.
I mean, they just they've doubled down on quality over ratings, and um, and that show the kind of I could care less whether the trailers look great, but
Hmm.
rather that the fact that it's an HBO property, and I think it'll be a bit more uh, accessible than like Watchmen or something like that, because Watchmen super acclaimed, but not everybody's cup of tea, right? It's a very
Yeah.
specific kind of
My only
uh,
worry with that is people are a little zombied out. Like Walking Dead kind of like I am done with zombies for a while because of Walking Dead. Like I can't stand it anymore. I thought it was so cool when that first came out, and now I'm done with it. Just go away. That's the
but I
only
mean,
thing I'm worried about. But it's a good story. I love that video game. Like I played that one all the way through. It's a really good game. I hated the second one, but I like the Last of Us is really good.
Rafaels is asking, is there a Game of Thrones in comics, and is it worth anything?
There is a Game of Thrones
Oh,
comic.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't know. It's not a retelling in comic form. It's a continuation or
Okay.
it's like an offshoot of it. So it's like George R. Martin presents Game of Thrones, and no, I
Who,
wouldn't get it.
who, who published it?
Uh, Dynamite, I want to say it was the same publisher. I think it was Dynamite because it was like with like all the Vampirella and the Red Sonja books. So I think that's Dynamite.
Okay.
I think so. But what I would recommend, and looking back at some of the my past like spec spec books that still haven't popped, but I still feel like they're good spec, is that God of War book #1. It's very low printed, and it's a great book. You could still get it for under $100, and I still swear by that Dragon's Lair #1. The Dirk the Daring. That Ryan Reynolds just came out with another update. It might be long ways off, but that is not also a very low printed book, and that they
Is
I
that
think it was like 3 or 4. You can get the whole series. It's like 4 in the series or 5 in the series.
that's a mid '80s Marvel book?
No, not
Is
at all.
it?
It's a '90s book.
Oh, okay.
Surprisingly, the video game is from the '80s, but they didn't print the book until I think it's like '96, '98.
What am I thinking of?
I don't know. I can show it up here too. Like here, let's because I got Key Collector behind us. So if I share the screen, there you are.
Look at that, #1 on
Look
the
at
Hot
you.
10.
Number
Speaking
one
of
on the Hot 10. I know.
speaking of being burned out by zombies, apparently
Yeah.
people are
Well, I
back
mean,
on board.
that I'm totally against that being on the list. It's only because the show ran its course and it's done. I mean, that's no reason to have it up there. So God of War is this is the #1 book from
Yeah.
Wildstorm. I highly recommend this book. I think it's a great spec book.
I mean, that
Uh,
book's got a lot of love, though, right? I mean, it's like, what is it? They're an $80 book.
it's $80. You probably that's not true though. It's probably like $100 to $130 for a good copy of number one. I know nine
Yeah.
eights go for like 800 or 700. But they
Do you
are
have
gonna
any?
do a TV series, so it's not just based on obviously the game has come out and that has passed, but they are gonna do a live action Kratos, which that's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be really cool. And then, like I said, the other one is Dragon's Lair, and that is this one from Cross Gen. Is the first appearance of Dirk the Daring.
Okay.
That's also wrong. You can't get one for $50. It's over a little over 100, but this is another one. It's only 9,000 copies. I think there's 4 in the series. There's 3 in the series. That's it. Or that just might be 3 keys in the series. I think it's either 4 books or 5 books. But that Dirk the Daring or Dragon's Lair 1 is another good one to get. From I think this one, not Wildstorm. This one is CGE. But yeah, those are 2. I think they're great books to get. Little off the beaten path. Not your typical.
Kind of lame typefaces in those '90s books.
Yeah. Go
Okay.
back to that. We'll unshare. Unshare. Yeah, but that Game of Thrones book is not worth anything. I think it came out right towards the end of the last season or the second to last season. It started coming out, and it's like $5 book. So what'd you get in the mail? Anything?
No,
You didn't get anything in the mail?
no, I'm not. I mean, I got 3,000 books. I still got to freaking.
I mean, this
Yeah.
this is gonna be kind of spoilerish. I hope everybody saw Black Panther, but I immediately as soon as I got home from the movie on Thursday at midnight, I went out and I got 2 of these. So I got more. I think I'm up to like 5 of this. First appearance of Tosin. And then
I
I
like
got
that. I like that cover A way better than the variant cover.
the variant cover is the one with he's on the tree, right? That
It's
goes
like
for a lot of money though. It's like 600
yeah,
bucks. I honestly, my favorite is the second printing with the Tosin on the cover is my favorite, and they're cheap. You can get those for like $10. But these were going for, I think I snagged them for $40 each, and now they're up to $75, $80 each, maybe more.
really.
Yeah, they flew up. It's just because it's just the name though, because the post credits doesn't match up with Tosin. Tosin
Well,
is unrelated.
it just seems to me to be odd that they would introduce a character who debuted in comics this year. Like
Yeah,
it seems super fast.
I think so in comics, and I don't remember his name. So they probably steer away from the Storm lineage because he's not with Storm. You know what I mean?
I mean, he was not right. He was not with Storm,
So, well,
and
I mean, there's no Storm in the MCU, so
no Storm in the
there's no
MCU,
Storm.
and they
There's
decided that they weren't going to recast Chadwick Boseman. So
and there's no Storm
that.
lineage, so we got to go with what's her name? Shoot, that's sad. I forgot her name.
You mean,
Lupita's character.
right? Yeah.
I forgot her name.
Yes.
Anyway, but yeah, so
Yeah.
now you're going with a different lineage, so you're going with a different, child. And, I forgot what the actual name was in the movie, but it was so close to Tosin, like everybody's like, oh shit, let me just go grab this book. So I grabbed 2 more. I think I have like 6 of this book now. Whatever.
Ocean.
I think that the story behind him too is like him and his family or his tribe is like opposed to using any Wakandan tech at all.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't know how that plays out. Whatever. And anyway, so I got this too. I got a signed Lefty Gomez. This is a reprint card, but signed by Lefty Gomez. I think this is BS. To be honest with you, I'm looking at it real close and I'm about to send it back. So I was like, this can't be real.
Well, when did Lefty Gomez die?
That's a great question. I don't know when Lefty Gomez died. Let's look it up.
And was he alive when that reprint card was made?
Well, I mean, obviously, yeah. Lefty Gomez, he probably died in the 50s. No,
Yes.
so he died in 1989. He could have definitely signed this.
Okay. How old was he when he died?
He was 700 years old.
Oh,
He was.
his mo-
He looks like he was 80. He was 80,
1909.
81. So he could have definitely signed this. It looks like it's signed, and it does look like his autograph. I took a shot on it. I also got one with my fellow named Dolph Camilli signed. Also, is pretty cool. But this is my big buy. You ready?
Ready?
You ready? This is kind of like one of those, like, you know how
Wait. Did you buy this since I saw you on Saturday?
I think so. I hadn't. Well, one of them came in the mail today. The other one came in the mail over the weekend, I think. But I don't think you saw either of them. And this is like one of my one of my grails, like one of those things I've been like circling around for a long time. So what I did was I made an offer on one, and then I bid on another because it was going for so low. And of course, like everything, I won them both. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. Oh, snap.
I got the two C-3PO error cards, the Golden Dong. These are great, man. I got to get them graded. They're decent shape too. They're a little off center, little rounded corners, but I don't care. I've been wanting these cards for a long time. They're not easy to get.
That was a corrected error, correct?
It was corrected fast too. So there aren't not many of them. So yeah, yeah. That's one I've been wanting for a while. I also got something coming in the mail Friday, which that'll be good for next week because it's another thing that I've been circling for a really long time, and I can't wait to get it. And I got it super cheap, like unbelievably cheap. Let's just say gem, or not even gem mint, 9s of this card go for $1,000.
Whoa.
And I think I got one that could be 9 worthy, maybe 10. But that all depends.
Do you want to share your low grade beauties from the baseball card show?
Oh, I don't even know where they are. I put them in the box already. Yeah, I don't even know what I got.
You got the Batman cards.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, I'll go get those.
The Batman 66 cards.
Yeah, sure. All right, hold on.
So Dolph and I attended a little sports card show in a Catholic church near apparently Bon Jovi's dad's funeral home on Saturday, and there was one guy with comics there, and maybe you guys have had this experience before. So you're at a place that normally wouldn't have comics. There is a guy with comics there. Let's say, like, same thing as like a flea market, right? And the guy tells you, "Oh, you guys like comics?" Of course, yes, we like comics. Why are we looking through boxes if we don't like comics? And then they proceed to tell you, "Oh, I have a bunch more comics in the car." Now, this person who was at a show for the intention, and all they were selling was comics. So the intent was to sell comic books. There was more space on the table to put more boxes of comics. the
Yeah. So.
guy says to Dolph and I've got 24 boxes in the car, good stuff like Spider-Man, and Dolph and I were like,
Go to your
can you get them?
go to your car.
And then he's like, nah, I don't want to get them out of the car.
It's like you want them. Come to the flea market. I'm like,
Yeah, you
okay.
want to come to a flea market
You
that's
want them?
not today
You
and
want
is
them?
like 100 miles away.
Come to the flea market.
He's like, why would I come to the flea market
It's
when I'm
terrible.
standing in front of you right now?
Terrible, terrible, terrible. All right. So first of all, what was this stack of bonds? $4, I think you said.
$4.
So $4 for this stack of bonds cards, like 88 tops. What is that? A 91 Donruss, 89 Fleer, 91, 89 Fleer. There are some rookies in here. 88. That's a crap
Mhm.
card. That's junk. There is a rookie in here, but look at the crease in this thing. I was like, yikes. That is a bad crease, man. But there is another one that's fine. So another one of those. That one's okay. So that made up for the whole stack. And then it's just more 88, 89. What is that one? What is that one?
Let me see.
Is that Upper Deck? That
That's
was like
a 90.
like one of
That's
those
like
lumber
95.
companies.
95 SP or something like that.
93, 96?
Yeah, 96. Could be 96,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then was that more 88s and whatever, one random 1990. But for $4, that's not bad. I did for $2. I got a Josh Beckett rookie. That was pretty cool.
This was at the most random stand I've ever been at
Yeah,
a show.
dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, I have some major regrets. He had a beater copy, but he had a Luke Skywalker Star Wars card, the #1. It was beat up and it was in the $2 box. But I mean, tens go for like 20 grand. So, a low grade beater one for $2 could have been worth at least like 15 or 20.
A Series 1.
Series 1. Yeah. It was hosed. Run over the truck division, as we say. I got another Bonds for $2. That one's in really nice shape. Little off center, but not bad. Got this Nolan Ryan strikeout leaders from 1980. That's a great card. Good shape too. With J.R. Richard. And then I got this Eddie Matthews. What did I pay for this?
I think you paid $2 for it.
$2 for that one too. Yeah, that was a nice one. And then I got these 66 Batman. They were all $2. They're pretty rough, but I've been putting this set together. This one in my Mars Attack set. And then
How many cards are in those series?
a Mars Attacks is 50. I have it right here. I think it's 55 cards.
Okay.
It
And they were
is
done basically around the same time, right? They're
55
very
cards.
similar in terms of their painted the painted
Yeah,
images.
Mars Attacks is 62, I think.
Okay, so that's got to
And then
predate
these are Batman
at least 4
66.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's right though. The series runs. So I don't know what he said. It goes from because there's the Batman with the red logos too. I don't know if these are after. These are the first ones, and then the Batman. This is red. That's the second series. That's the next series.
They're really cool.
I mean that
Those are-
Batman #2. So the second card is called the Batman. That card can sell for $800. And then the second card is Robin, and that card can sell for like $300 or $400. Like they go for really good money. But I don't care if they're all beat up. I just want to put the set together.
Yeah.
And then I did grab a gold because I never had the gold 92 or 1993 Jeter rookie. I paid what, $40? 45. I said 40. He said 45.
That's right.
Yeah, I know.
He had a mark of 50. You said 40,
Yeah.
and he said split the difference.
We did the dance. And then, okay, I got some stuff that's the artist in me. This is the blackest paint known to man. I had to buy this. I'm going to use it on a couple of my sketch cards but to do backgrounds, but this is the blackest paint. It reflects like, or it absorbs like 99.8% of light.
Is that the
It's
what is it?
crazy.
That's
Dude.
the spinal tap of black paint.
It is the Spinal Tap of black paint. Dude, when you see this, it's going to blow your mind. It's crazy. It's crazy how much light it absorbs. It's not. It's otherworldly.
Surprised I can still see you. It's in the same room as you. Hasn't absorbed all the
Yeah,
light.
it should have absorbed my light.
Yeah.
That would be cool. All right, man. You want to get to the hot 10? I have 6 of them.
6 of them. Okay.
I have
Rafael,
six. I have 6 in the
Rafael,
hot
what's
10.
your total? What's your
Rafaus,
total? We need Rafael's total. I have 1. I'm batting
you
100.
just have one?
Yeah. I owned at least. I owned some of these before, but I don't own them anymore.
I got you.
Yeah. I've never owned this first one.
I have never. I just pressed one, but I have never owned it. I pressed a bad one too. It was like maybe a 5. It was.
Oh,
It was really scratched up. There was no saving that thing.
what is so? This was it. This predates the show, obviously, right? The
Yes.
show comes out of this, and is whoa. Rafael only has 1.
Wow.
That's great. That Rafael said your black paint contains Robert Smith's tears.
Yeah. That's awesome. Was
That
that,
is
from South Park?
What's that?
Robert Smith's Tears?
I mean, I don't know. Did
I-
they talk about the Cure, Robert Smith from the Cure?
I remember. Well, Robert Smith was in that like Mecha Godzilla episode with Barbara Streisand.
Maybe. Boosh.
All right.
So-
So yep.
Walking Dead #1.
I
mean-
I have zero faith in this whatsoever. The show is done. It's been beaten to death. I think this is like one of those. I think I saw Mighty Boosh.
Is this book was just off the charts for the longest time too, right? I mean, like at the height of the show, this book is so when in 2016, 17, 18, when this show is like the most popular thing going, this comic is having a field day, right?
This is the funny thing. When I got back into collecting comics, 9/8s were going for 10 grand. Like easily. Like this was a $10,000 book in a 9/8. So it's come down a lot. And this is just ironically, man, I would go to the comic book store and like Borders, and I would buy these books, like every Image #1 I could get my hands on, and then right before 2003 I stopped buying books because I was dating somebody. So
But
it's so
you
funny.
You and Jimmy both stopped buying your Spawns right when the Spawns became
Exactly.
right
Yep.
when
Yeah.
Spawns became valuable.
2003 is around the time. That's when I met my wife, and I kind of stopped buying comic books. And yeah, so I missed out on this one. I didn't get Invincible. I didn't get like all the books that I would have been worth so much money. I didn't get any of them.
So this book has definitely seen a bit of a rebound, though. 3,400 for the 9/8,
That's a good price.
up 15% from the 12-month average. This book is kind of crazy too. That the 9/6 or 9/4 is still a $1,600 book,
Hmm.
which you don't, especially in moderns, you see that huge drop off from 9/8 to 9/6.
Even
And-
a 9.0 is 1,000. Is a lot of money.
right, a 9/0 is still
That's a lot of money for a
$935 book,
9.0.
yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, the series finale was just last week.
Yeah.
I thought the series ended like 2 years ago. I was never
Well, it did for a lot of
Walking
it
Dead.
did for a lot of people. It's not I haven't watched it since Rick died, probably before then. Or well, Rick didn't die, but when Rick left the show and Negan and Glenn and that whole thing, that's about the time that I stopped watching.
This is not surprising, but it is crazy. Did you see this stat here? Nearly half of the Walking Dead #1 first printing is graded.
Yeah.
Nearly half of every, with
That's
a total
crazy.
of 3,742 copies on either the CGC or CBCS population
Yeah, but
report.
that's not true though. We know that's not true because how many are resubmitted?
resubmitted. Yeah, well, this is true. It is
because
rare for an issue to
yeah,
have such a high percentage of graded copies in the print run.
like I said, like 9/8 a few years ago, or like maybe 5 years ago, we're going for 10 grand. So
Yes,
if it
so
meant
maybe you
if
have
it meant four
5 or 6
grand,
resubmit.
yeah, if it meant between 2,000 and 10,000, and you're going to resubmit your 9.6 as many times as you possibly can to get that 9.8. So I think that number's a little skewed.
Popular key, so even if it is slightly skewed, right?
Yeah.
Popular key issues from the 80s and 90s are approximated to have 10% of their print run graded, while an issue like Ultimate Fallout 4 shows a graded population of 25%.
Yeah.
So in comparison to of UF4, this is still almost 2x that in terms of the graded population,
Are
which is
they
crazy.
saying that this is the most?
They're not saying, they didn't specifically say it's the most. They just
Yeah,
say
I have the words cut off after like copies on the CGC. I don't
yeah,
see the rest of the.
it just says like in general, the and I don't think that's necessarily, they're not trying to say this that you devalue this. It's just that that out of a very small total print run to begin with, roughly 7,500,
Yeah.
a significant portion of the population
And
is
I would also say, because it's a modern book, that probably 80% of the books are above a 9.0. So that's another reason why I don't know why 9.0s
yeah.
would be so much. There's going to
Well,
be so many on the
that.
pop.
It'd be interesting to look at that population report and see what that is. It's the distribution. If only we had a way.
I know, right?
Um,
I'll do that
if
right now.
only if only we were sitting behind supercomputers.
Yeah.
Um, but I watched last week's Hot 10 with Comic Tom and Jem Mint this morning on my walk to work,
Yeah.
and I had no idea that that the population report, or the population count for ASM1 was so freaking low in high grade
On what?
on ASM1. So there, Amazing Spider-Man 1. There's two
Yeah.
9.8s that exist,
Yeah.
and neither has ever sold.
Never sold.
Never sold. And there are only four 9.6s that exist, and then there's only something like 10 9.4s. So that's just, I mean, I do understand it's a book from 1962, so, or 62, no, 63, but that's just a very, very small
Yeah.
population. I mean,
So
isn't there isn't there way more like 52 tops mantles in, not in tens, but in nines and tens than that?
no. There's
There is.
there's there's I don't even think there is a 10. Or there might be one 10. There is one
Yeah,
10. The
there's
guy who owns the Diamondbacks has the 110, and he is gonna put it up for sale. They're saying it's gonna be at least a $10 million card.
yeah.
But I only think because there's only the 195 that SGC graded, and then there might be a couple nines, but I think we're still talking sub 10,
Yeah.
nines and above. Don't
Yeah,
forget,
it's just incredible. Some of the
yeah,
populations are so small.
yeah, but there, did you see that article about there's like a Onus Wagner card, a 1903 Onus
Mm.
Wagner card that might be rarer than the one the T206 that we all know.
Really,
But it's just
that seems
not.
just like
It's
to
just
not be on baseball cards.
yeah. It's weird. It's a red card. It's kind of ugly looking, but I guess maybe that might have something to do with it too. That it's not a nice looking card. But I don't know. It's weird. There's one out there. Maybe because the 2000 was it the T206? That's the one. He said take that down. Take it away. Like I don't like that.
Apparently, he was
Why am I getting
beefing on
sets?
a bunch of cards.
Registry. But why is it giving me sets? Competitive sets? Did I go to the wrong thing?
Anywho,
I'm
you
just
getting
trying to find the CGC.
dude? How many Walking Dead ones do you think are in are in a there could be a lot of Walking Dead ones in collections where people have kind of hung it up for for like just like you like maybe they were 18, 19 in 2000.
Oh yeah.
What is this, 2003?
Jason,
And then
this is exactly why I love garage sales, because you know how many
yeah,
times you go to a garage sale and you ask them like, "Do you have any comics?" They're like, I think my kid's got comics. He like
right,
moved
right,
out. He moved out years ago. Why don't you have a
yeah,
look?"
yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah,
he doesn't need these baseball. And then the kid's gonna come home. He's like, "Mom, what?"
yeah,
I
yeah,
did have one
certainly.
mother who said that, and she's like, let me check with him first, and I never heard from her again. But you see that more than you think. Like that's why I love garage sales. Does CGC? Why is it giving me the? Why is it giving me a trading card pop report
For what?
for CGC? Like I want the. I don't want cards. I want
So,
CGC.
well,
Where's the
you know,
registry?
basically, in the spirit of Jimmy being here, I'm going to
Yeah.
move on to the next book because we've already spent like
Oh
15
shit!
minutes.
Yeah, right. Here's the next three. Start talking.
So, Superman 199. Does Dolph own this? Well, he owns six of them, and he doesn't own the first. You said you don't own Walking Dead ones, so
No, I don't own
Superman
one.
199. I'm going to say you own a copy of Superman 199,
I do have a copy of this.
and I did own a copy of
I have
Superman 199.
a bad copy of this though. It's probably like the 3.0, 2.5, 2.5.
Mine was probably what, like a 5.5.
Yours is pretty decent. Yours is
Mm-hmm.
much nicer than mine.
Yeah, mine. Yeah, mine. I sold at that little con that I did. So,
Yeah.
um, this is a book like I don't think there's anything particularly like sexy about this book, but people do really like this book.
People like
You know,
all
like,
of them. What are there, four Superman Flash races? They all go for decent money. It's kind of
yeah.
crazy.
And so this is a book that's always kind of hanging out there.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's
but
another
a
one of
4.0,
those, like we always say, like classic covers are evergreen. They're never going anywhere.
yep, and a 4.0 is still a $200 book.
Yeah.
Um, a 9.2 sold last week for $2,000, which exceeded the 12-month by 11%. So, this is another example of DC keys. I don't know if we're going to see them spike, but they're certainly maintaining.
So if
They
but
haven't.
if across the board the comic market is dipping, right? And
Yeah.
and it is.
Mhm.
Is this where you put your money?
No, certainly not. I mean,
Exactly.
I
Like
where I put my money, but I do think that if you're I think this is a book for that purist, for that old school collector that wants like kind of iconic, you know, um,
but out of the
iconic
dip,
emotions.
what's this book gonna do?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is not the
Yeah,
person who's buying this
yeah,
book
yeah, I get
is
it.
buying it for the love of comics
Yeah,
and
sure.
for owning this book that's got some like historical significance. It's not because they think it's going to be a big
Yeah.
spike or
Not to
you know.
mention they already did the race in Justice League, so it's like that's done.
So,
Moving on.
anywho, if you see it at the flea market, it's probably picking it up
You
still,
should pick it
you
up.
know,
You should pick it
for
up
the
at the
right
flea
price.
market.
Um, Fantastic Four 72. Uh, we have talked about the iconic cover business
Yeah,
often.
I mean this is just low hanging fruit. It's
That is
just
a
it's
this is
like
a pure driver. This is a
yeah,
pure example of the
yeah.
of because from what I understand, I don't think there is any significant like
Yeah.
activity that happens in this book. But this is oftentimes people point to as their favorite surfer cover. I mean, it's a
This is
classic Kirby cover, super bad A picture of the Watcher behind him. A lot of cosmic activity going on in the background, and probably the coolest Yeah, it's probably the
I
coolest of
like
the Surface books.
the Watcher back. It's better than the brown cover on 50.
Su Way better than the brown cover.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
Kirby's leveling up.
this book is is up in multiple grades. Um, this is still a book like those later 70s Fantastic Four, not 70s in terms of 1970s, but rather the issue numbers in 70s. Like these 72, that starts to be where you see a lot of these books and collections. I mean, I've already seen multiple
Yeah.
collections, and I haven't seen a lot of Silver Age
Once you get
collections.
to the 15 centers, you see a lot of 15-cent Fantastic
Yep,
Fours.
yep, 80s in the 80s and stuff like that. So this is certainly a book that you may find. Uh, so, anyways, again, if you're somebody who's collecting covers, it, I think there's few surfer covers that get better than this. I mean, the next one is
Yeah.
clearly
I mean,
one of them, but
you're gonna see relative gains for all Surfer Galactus stuff. I mean,
yep,
it's still my number one spec book. I still say everybody should be getting 48. I'm surprised it's not on this list. And once again, it's just low hanging fruit because if this list is based purely on sales. So 48's a lot of money. So they're probably going to 49 and 50, and now you're going to 72 and Surfer One, and you know it's all gonna gain relatively. Like
for sure.
every surfer cover from the 70s is gonna go up.
And 49 had a huge heritage sale last week,
Yeah.
uh, so that's gonna help.
Yep.
I mean, 49, you got to think this is probably one of the best covers of all time. Like, it's just, you
So
know,
wait, does that say 49 went for 192 over the previous 47? So it sold in the 200,000s?
no, no, no. It's worded
Oh, yeah, it's
oddly.
worded really poorly. So it's 192,000. That's
192,000. Yes.
crazy. Well, remember the one that we were looking at Comic Con, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was when I was there with Jeff on Sunday. We were looking at a 48. He had a 9.6, and it was for 50. It was only 50. Or no, it was a 9.0. It was 50K. It was beautiful though. Oh my God, was it beautiful?
Um,
That's crazy. That's a great book. Do I have this one?
yes, you have this book.
I do have this book. I do not have 72.
I do have this
I don't
book.
think so. I gotta look now.
What do we think? What is your copy of this book? Is it
49, decent. I have a good copy.
Yeah, I have a good.
My 48 has, well, it's graded already. It's got tape on it. Um, I do not have 72 cataloged. I go from 69 to 84.
Let's play Is My Comic in Dolph's Basement? No, it's not.
No,
It's
you
right
have
here.
it there. You took that one back.
Yeah. So here's my 40.
Yeah, for Faust. If I see a 49 at a flea market, I'm picking it up.
There's there's my 48. Pretty pretty nice.
Yeah,
I think it's probably what, like 5.5 maybe.
probably.
But I think my 49 could be it could be a 6 maybe.
Yeah.
Great color though.
I don't even know where
Really
mine is. Actually, I do know exactly where mine is. I could just click on it, and it'll tell me it is in the safe. Oh no, it's in a basement. No, it's in a long box. What? Not in the safe. It's a
Yeah,
$1,600 book. I have it in a long box.
no no Marvel shipping on this bad boy. But I would say it's probably 6.
Showcase 55. I love this cover.
Showcase 55.
I love
Pick
it.
it up at the flea market for sure. Um, yeah, it's a great cover. I mean,
So they've
it's
been
such a
using Grundy. They've been using in Stargirl. I loved how they used Grundy in the first season of Stargirl. Um,
uh-huh.
but they haven't been doing much with him. But he's a great character, so I'd love to see more of him.
It's such a cool. This is such a cool, like, because of the colors are so
Yeah,
potent. With that green and then the red and then the yellow and the purple.
yeah.
I really like that it's got kind of like Scooby Doo vibes in terms of
It does have
the
Scooby Doo vibes. Yeah, you're right there.
like
Uh huh.
with the moon and the golden moon and the trees and stuff.
I don't even
But
know what I have mine graded at. It's not showcase.
so you actually have this book?
Oh, I shouldn't have revealed that. Yes, I do. I bought this a while ago. I have mine as a 5.5, $75. It says.
And did
I
it's
was
got
buying.
a
I was buying up weird DC characters
$75?
a few years ago. What's that?
It's got it's $75 as a 5.5.
That's what I have it at. This is through. So don't forget, it's collectors, right?
What the price
Update
component?
values. Yeah, it's updated through cover price.
That's
So
so
it's
that's
just based on sales.
a 6.0 this week sold for $300. Uh,
Seal.
so
So
I
cover
would
price needs
imagine
to get their act together.
I would imagine a 5.5 is not $225 off.
All right. I'm waiting for my update then. I have to hit my update button.
This is the second consecutive week that this issue has ranked on the Key Collector Hot 10 after breaking one record in 2.5 and another 5 copies for higher than average.
This was
week
on.
is
This was on the
full of
list last
sales.
week.
Well, we didn't remember we were on hiatus. We were on Thanksgiving hiatus last
We
week.
were, but we were still paying it. That's right. We were at the campfire at Jimmy's house, but
That's
we were
right.
still looking at the hot 10.
We were
I,
chasing children around
yeah,
a fire.
you were.
That's true.
Yeah, I was grabbing up these old DC like Silver Age first appearances a long, long time ago.
Yeah, I think it's a
Great
crazy cool
character.
book. Um, what's funny though? Like aside from the fact that obviously I bought a Silver Age collection, single owner that was primarily DC. Most of the Silver Age books that I've seen, you know, either at flea markets or whatever the case may be,
Hmm.
most of them have been, beater Marvel copies. I haven't seen as
Yeah,
many DC books in the wild, so to speak.
DC had better paper then, though. That's for
Sure.
sure.
I mean, they
They
don't
don't
call
call
it
it DC
DC
chipping.
shipping,
Yeah, no, they don't.
right?
All right,
so,
next.
so next, Green Lantern 76. I mean, this is what the book they consider, some consider,
The
right, the
first
start
Silver
of the
Age.
Silver Age. Yeah. So, or I'm sorry, end of the Silver Age.
Yeah, the end of
Um,
the Silver Age.
and yeah, I mean, just great book. This is the first. This is when it's retitled Green Arrow, Green Lantern. Um,
Neil Adams starts that run. Like
I
it's
mean,
yeah.
Neil Adams, right? There's a lot of stuff going for this. The Neil Adams, I really think it's interesting. The Neil Adams um, uh, covers have really, they were kind of spiking prior to his passing, but since he's passed,
Hmm.
really, there's been a consistent
Yeah.
interest
It's still
in Neil
going.
Adams.
Yeah, it's not like it spiked. Everybody like picked some Neil Adams stuff and like went home. Like there's
Right.
definitely brought to light like how awesome Neil Adams was in the 60s and
It,
70s.
and he was really so prolific for DC at that
Yeah.
time period.
Oh
I mean, he
yeah.
was freaking like Kirby for Marvel. There are so many titles from DC in that time period that are his books. I would, I'm not a huge Batman fan, but in terms of like just art, Batman 227, I love it if I come across that in a collection at some point in time,
Sure.
and that one will definitely stay with me because it's such like it's just a beautiful piece of art.
Yeah.
Um,
I got
but
two of
yeah,
these.
okay.
I got a really bad one and a really nice one. The bad one is really bad. It's got to be like maybe a 2.8. They give that or what is it? Probably 2.5, 3.0 maybe. The cover's still
So
attached.
Um,
This was in that
so
collection that Rick passed up for $500. Two of these. Two of these. A, a Ra's al Ghul, a First Man Bat, the homage cover that you were just talking about.
227.
Yeah, that was in there. $500. He didn't want it. I was like, you're crazy.
Um, I didn't realize that this book was kind of, that this book explores these social themes. I didn't.
Oh
So there's a
yeah,
note here: the introduction to controversial social themes
dude,
in comics. Later.
this is like the movie Easy Rider with Green Arrow and Green Lantern. They like go across the country and they like solve problems. It's like the A Team. They find themselves in a new town and they solve another problem.
Probably, they probably build less facsimile tanks though
Yeah,
than
exactly.
than the A team does.
It's a good read. I would definitely recommend it.
They probably have to drug fewer team members to get them on that helicopter
Yes.
or that plane.
Yes.
I think getting on the plane right off.
All right.
Um, Avengers 4 is Avengers
Yeah.
4. I feel like this is one of those. This is like a boomerang book. It's just gonna keep coming back. Um, I mean,
I looked out. Henry gave me a really good deal. So for a slabbed 181.35 and an unslabbed this, probably in a 3.0, maybe a 3.5 for
mhm.
$1,300 was a really good. I mean, thanks to Henry, that was a really good deal. I bought that off him a long time
So
ago
wait,
for
you traded and cash or?
$1,300.
Mhm,
It's a Hulk 181.35 slabbed,
mhm.
and this raw about a 3.035.
Oh, okay.
Like 6 years ago. That was a good investment.
Yeah, I mean this book is
He
great.
knew I wanted Avengers 4 for a long time. So when he finally got one, it was like a second copy for him. He's like he gave it to me. Like he gave me a really good price on it.
I mean, a 7.0 is still a $4,400 book. It's crazy.
Dude,
And a
this
9.0,
is as ridiculous as like FF5. Like Doom in a .5 is like $2,000. Like a .5. But yeah, this book is solid.
so there was a record-breaking sale in a 9.4 that came from the Boston Pedigree collection. It sold for 33,600, a 65% increase over the last time it sold in 2011.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's great. I mean, certainly.
Oh yeah. I got to get mine graded. I really do.
Now, how's the color on yours? Is it kind of got that cream, the cream behind
It's
the?
gray.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
because
not it's not white. It's gray.
interesting. I don't. I would like to see what a 9.4 looks like because
Yeah, I
almost
mean,
every white cover from this time period
yeah.
is not white anymore.
Well,
Like,
remember when we looked at like um Heritage's like booth, and when you see those covers and the way like they pop off the page, and
yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
wow, like this is the finest version of this book I'll ever see, and you're just like, that is incredible, like it's
right.
amazing. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, like same for this, like it's probably stored very well for a very long time. And yeah,
I think some interesting, and I don't know if anybody in the chat is interested in this, but I think one of these, we will have to do some research, but talk about pedigrees some night. I think would be a cool conversation
you know what?
because I think
When we
there's some
want to
really
have
cool
that
stories.
conversation, I'll go to CGC's website and download the book. So their new book, remember, were you with me when he showed me that? So in
We talked about some of them.
CGC just came out with a book that says how to grade comics. And there
Okay,
is a whole section on pedigrees and all the pedigrees, which
okay, yeah.
I'll pick it up. It's like $30. I'll grab it and I'll have it delivered here. And when I get it, we'll go over the pedigrees because you're right, it is incredible. Some of them are
Um,
just like they just have two little letters on every cover. It's like
sure.
it'll say BR and that's the whatever collection.
Well, I just think the really cool thing is like so many of the stories were just like, just Joe Average, right? Like just Joe Average, and
I
it's
mean,
cool. It's cool that these people
yeah,
just
the promise.
basically they were disciplined in terms of just like
Yeah,
rigid in buying
yeah.
books, right?
Like
Like,
the promise collection is a rarity where there's an actual story, like a really
right,
nice story. Usually, it's just a guy who, like you just said, is completely anal. Bought his books the day they came out from the 50s on, and then just stored them very well, and he just kept care of everything and put his initials on the cover. That's it. That's the pedigree.
yeah. Is it this? Is it the San Francisco pedigree where was the person bought their comics? They were Japanese American, and they bought were an internment camp, and
Oh
uh,
no, I
and
didn't know
and
that one. That's crazy.
purchased. I think that's the one. Like, just some really incredible stories.
I'll get the
The
book. We'll
one,
go over them.
yeah, the guy learned English or practices English by
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 reading
reading
comics, that's
comics. Yeah.
cool. That's really cool.
So yeah, really really neat stories to them.
Yeah.
So um, yeah, I have a feeling there are more collections out there too.
Refaust, if you see an Avengers 4 at a flea market for $1, you probably
You
should.
pick that
You should
up.
probably should pick it up.
Although, to be perfectly honest, this next book is really the one you have the greatest chance of seeing at the flea market because you have seen this book in the
I
last year at the flea
I
market.
have, let's see,
You've probably
because
seen this book multiple times at flea market.
Omega Men Volume 1, I have 3 cataloged already. I know I have more than that. I think I have 6 of this. I buy them whenever I see them. If I see one for under $40, I'll buy it. I've seen a lot of them.
It is really interesting. Is really interesting though. Like, we've seen these big shifts in terms of how people are kind of not wildly reacting to speculative stuff quite as much now. And I think a couple of content creators that I've watched, and they're people I really respect, but they said they think that the market is more savvy, and I don't think that is the case. I think that
I don't think
you've
that's the
already seen
case.
I think you've already seen a lot of those people exit the hobby that came into the hobby, and then it it became harder to make big amount of money really quick.
Yeah,
So then they
how do you explain Man Thing 1? That's not a
right,
savvy collector. That's his 7th
right,
appearance. Like, why would you
yeah,
go after that book?
right. And so there are still some anomalies like Man Thing One, but this is certainly one of those anomalies. I mean, we had Jason Momoa, who's already a major character in the
Yeah.
DCU, say like, "I'd love to play Lobo," basically, and then you're seeing plus 22%, plus 39%, plus 58%, plus 44%,
This
plus
book never.
37%, plus 23%.
Did I ever tell you about the first time I went to Comic Con and in Artist Alley there was a guy on the end. He was one of those guys who sold like top loaders and stuff. He had a
Okay,
bunch of long boxes, and I swear to God, he had maybe 20 of these, all high grade at $5 a piece. And I only bought 3 of them. I would have bought more. I'm not that guy who would buy all of them. But
sure.
I'm like, I had $15 in my pocket. I just gave it to him, and I bought 3 of them. They were all like 9.6s plus. I never got them graded. But yeah, I mean, like, $5 a piece at let's see, that would have been 2013 Comic Con. That's it. They were cheap. They weren't going for anything. They never got any respect. This book.
But this book is probably not rare in any way, shape, or form either,
No,
right?
no,
Like,
no, no. It's not rare.
yeah.
But it's Lobo.
No, I get all that. I just think it's interesting, you know, like like we talk about. Everybody's saying, "Oh, people are more savvy. Poor people more savvy." This is like a tweet or two, and
Yeah,
you're
I know.
seeing. It's not that you're seeing. It's. I think it doesn't bother me that you're seeing this huge percentage increase in copies sold. It's that people are paying, you know, 50 and 60% more than they were 2 months ago.
Yeah.
When
When they
a
could have
tweet,
got him for nothing.
and a tweet means
And a
nothing.
tweet, yeah, I
A
know.
tweet means the movie would be
Dude,
4 or 5 years off if they
how many
committed to making it.
how many bronze tigers got sold because what's his name? Idris Elba tweeted a bronze tiger instead of Bloodsport. Everybody thought he was going to be Bronze Tiger in Suicide Squad because he tweeted a bronze tiger. Everybody went out and bought that book.
It's tweet madness, I tell you.
Tweet madness. Do you
Just
know
like
I got a
like Reaper
confession.
madness.
I got a confession to make. Every time I hear Lobo, I think of Steve Guttenberg and Jamie Gertz in that movie where he's a fat guy and he reinvents himself as like a biker, as a biker guy. Do you know what I'm talking about? His name is Lobo. Hold on,
I cannot think of a time when Gutenberg was a fat guy.
Steve Guttenberg Lobo. This is it. Don't tell her
was
it's
he-
me. So
Wait, was his name Lobo?
This is
Oh my God!
This is Lobo. That's what he was.
Freaking love it.
This is what he was in the beginning of the movie, and then his sister is.
Wait a minute. He was Powder in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, he's Powder in the beginning of the movie. He's got all diseases and stuff. He's got
and
no
then
hair.
he was Lorenzo Lamas.
And then Shelley Long is his sister, who's a romance novelist, and she creates him into this character named Lobo from New Zealand, and he makes Jamie Gertz fall in love with him. This is it.
He turns into Lorenzo Lamas.
He turns into Lorenzo Lamas. I am Lobo. I hunt for no one. There he is. That's
how
it.
many of that
me.
particular duster jacket do you think have been sold due to this movie and
It's always sunny in Philadelphia too. Dude, I don't know why I think of Lobo. I think of Steve Guttenberg as Lobo.
Well, I do want to say, despite all my trash talk on Omega Men, if I saw this at the flea market,
I'm buying it. I did buy it for $1.
I'm picking it up.
Last two.
I don't know that I've literally ever seen this book in person.
No, I mean I've seen it in person, but
have you?
Yeah, I mean at Comic-Cons they got them all the time, but I never like in a collection that I could have got, nothing like that. Like I've had I mean I get a lot of Sergeant Fury books, but I've never gone lower than 10, I don't think. So
yeah, this collection had like
you get
20 or 30 Howling Commandos books.
Yeah, you get the later ones, right?
Yeah, you got the later ones, and a fella came up, and I hadn't even gotten to rebag or board anything. They were in the shape books from that time period are.
Yeah.
And I just said, well, I'd do $3 a piece on them, and he picked the whole stack.
Nice.
And and then I gave him a better deal on them.
Very nice.
But yeah, there's probably this collection, which is primarily 80s and 90s books, had like probably between 30 and 40 Howling Commandos, Two Gun Kid, and
oh my God, Colt Kid and
was Two Gun Kid, and oh my God, what's the other one?
The Western book.
Yeah, the other Western Marvel book from the same time period. Jeez, I can't remember.
Why can't I think? Yeah, why can't I think? Two Gun Kid, Colt Kid, and there's another one.
Oh my God. Rawhide Kid. Yeah, there's a Rawhide Kid, I think that's what it is. So I will have the rest of those books because they were in the same. So I'll have the rest of those books this weekend because I guarantee that fellow will stop by again.
A 1.0 for $5.69. Yeah, there's a lot of kids out west. Yeah, I always
Yeah.
wanted this book just because it's like one of those B tier. It's like I counted this as like Daredevil 1. This was a nice one of those obtainable keys. First appearances. I mean, it's the first appearance of Dum Dum Dugan. I mean, let's be honest. That's why
Hmm.
you're buying this book.
Triple D.
Triple D. But yeah, I mean, like I said, is one of the last of those obtainable. That's why, when I couldn't get this, I pivoted to Strange and Ghost Rider, and I ended up getting all those guys for really cheap. Um,
Yeah, I mean, this book is, look at that. Freaking 8.0 is 9 Gs of this book.
yeah.
So,
Yep.
I mean, it's an early book, right? 63.
63.
That published, published date. So, yeah, certainly, what is the May 63. So this would have been, well, it's
I was
within
like, I never
a
got
couple
that. What is
months.
that? That
It's
first
31.
appearance of Hydra, that other Nick Fury where he has his eye patch. I love that book. That cover is awesome.
The Steranko one.
Yeah, the split cover with the Hydra and Sergeant
Oh,
Fury.
okay. No, I'm thinking of the Nick Fury solo series, the
Oh
Steranko
no,
kind of
not the white
with
one. I
those.
love that
Yeah,
cover. Oh,
yeah.
that cover is awesome. Anyway, this one was not on my radar ever. I never even knew that Red Hood went back that far. I thought Red Hood was a modern concept. I
So
I did not even know about this.
the oh my goodness, Ryan from Automatic Comics,
Yeah.
he bought the 1.8 Promise collection
Oh, he
of this
did.
book. Yeah, and so that's why I knew about this book. But yeah, this week saw a historic auction occur for Joker's origin story, when the
Crazy.
single highest grade copy of 9.4 sold for $324,000.
Yeah,
Um,
you're not getting Golden Age techs. You can't get them.
the interesting thing is, so it says, similar to Fantastic Four 49, the Fantastic Four 49 on the list this week, the 9.4 copy of Detective 168 was recently graded on September 9th of this year. So just a
They're
recently graded book.
flipping them quick.
Yeah. So the next highest grade is a
Because I
9.2.
I
There are
think the
two of those.
wasn't the runner-ups filled with books like this, right? That they were just all recently graded, like somebody picked up a collection, something like that. That collection
I
you
mean,
showed me was really nice too. Like I can't afford any of those books, but they're beautiful. Like all those early like romance and horror, like
yeah,
those.
yeah,
Man, I'd love to get my hands on an Eerie #1. But even like in a 1.0 is like 10 grand, 9 grand, I think, for Eerie
yeah.
one, first horror book.
What a great cover to that Eerie one.
Oh, it's so cool.
Such
I
a,
love it.
yeah, such a cool
Love it,
cover.
love it, love it.
Um, yeah, this book's
It's
incredible.
a great cover too.
Um, a 7.0, $33,600. It's kind of incredible when you do see early detective books at this point in time. Like
Yeah,
you don't see them
you don't.
that often.
But that just makes me feel like there's a lot of old people out there with techs in their garage, or you know what I mean? Like it's just like, and not only that, I feel like, as sad as it sounds, it'll take for like the husband to pass away and the wife to not know what to do with them. And then you'll finally see collections like this reach a market because,
I
well, I
think
mean, it could be the reverse. It could be the girls' collection too.
I think the
Certainly don't
really
want to rule
interesting
that out.
I think the really interesting thing, um, with a lot of these books, right, is that you it very much is highlighted, um, the era, and this era in pre collecting, right?
Yeah.
Because um, I saw something the other day. I guess it was some content I was watching about the Heritage Sale, right? And they were talking about Superman 1, and they were talking about uh, Marvel 1, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Marvel
and
Comics one.
Marvel Comics 1. There was an insane amount of that. Something like 700,000 copies were printed of that book,
Of Marvel
and
one?
yeah, and
Yeah.
yet there's like less than 150 total graded copies that exist of that book. It just goes to show you that like
They didn't
people
save things. Yeah.
people picked up their books, they read their books.
Yeah.
I mean, during World War II, they literally read them in foxholes, and they just were
You can imagine
very,
too. They just rolled
very
them up, put them
demonic,
in their back
very
pocket,
demonic.
jumped on their bike. Like,
They were burned for, kindling and stuff like that.
yeah,
It's just really incredible, based on what we see today of print run of a print run being 7,000 copies or something like that. That the some of the most iconic books in history had these enormous print runs, but just because of time and the way people treated those things at that point in time, they
yeah.
were not preserved. So that's the hot 10,
That's it.
folks.
That's the hot 10.
I would pick everything up at the flea market if you can.
Buy it for $1.
Just I'd buy that for $1. Take a wimpy approach to your comic buying, and either pay the guy Tuesday for the comic today, or buy it for $1.
Yeah.
You know, um, that's
Do you
a
have
deep.
anything on the horizon? I'm not really looking to buy anything right now.
Um, I mean, I have to really figure out what. So it clearly happens that, as I discussed with you over Thanksgiving, certainly my yard signs were getting taken actually by the Borough of State College,
Yeah.
because I've read the ordinance now, and I was not allowed to post a sign about buying comic books, even in property that I rent or that a friend owns, because there's an ordinance that says you can't post anything about a business like that. So I really have to think about. I was getting really great response from a simple yard sign, so I have to think about what is the next best way to advertise. Um, there's parameters on like Facebook Marketplace that make it difficult because you need to be selling something to sell on Marketplace. I have seen a lot of people kind of get
Yeah, they
creative.
try to, and they'll list, the price is 9765432 or
Right.
whatever.
But I don't know how necessarily, you know, I don't know how successful that
I
is.
wish I had
Now,
sage advice, but I do the same thing. I'll go to Craigslist. I'll go to Facebook Marketplace. I actually my local, not my county, my actual town has a newspaper, and it's not too expensive to run I think it's a monthly. It might be
yeah,
like a couple $100s, and I can get like a business card sized ad in there, and that might be something I might do.
yeah, it's really interesting because like, I have to figure out what is the vehicle to get in front of people's eyeballs. I
It's tough.
actually did run an ad in like a penny saver thing here, but even that was like, I think it was like $35 for 1 week. Like, and so it's not a big ad, so there's no
No,
pictures
yeah,
or
right.
anything like that. So you really have to,
People have to actually work to get to you.
right. And so I do feel like more than likely the people who are maybe a little older and have collections like we just talked about, that might be that might be where they're visiting, like where they're consuming information. But
Jason,
I
I
could
got
be
an
wrong.
idea for you, man. Why don't you go to signs.com and get one of
Mhm.
those static cling things for the back of your car, and you're driving
Yeah, I mean
around like I
that
know you
that
can
might
get one of those for $50, and then you're driving around billboard.
yeah, that's true. That might be the best case scenario.
And
Like,
make sure you get a QR code on there too, so they can go right to a website or
that's a, that's a
something.
that is a great idea.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, let's. What do they do? There's, I guess that is probably the best idea, right? The
Hmm.
static clings as opposed to a magnet that's going to potentially, uh, put a dark spot on my paint job
Yeah,
on this,
yeah. So you could put it on the window too, not on the car.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. Because I can design them like what do they call them? Like the city buses where you can see out, but
Yeah, exactly.
but it looks solid from the outside. That's a really good idea, though.
I mean, listen, you you got to go to
Yeah,
them.
because
You got to go to them.
yeah,
They can't
right.
come to you. Because not only
That's
that, like
certainly.
I know a guy that we got a heavily the circle. It's heavily visited, and there was a guy who always put a sign out there. I'm sure he did very well. He'd leave that sign up there for a month, 2 months at a time, and then
Mhm.
he'd put it on the other side of the circle, and I think he did pretty well there too. Um, so, and he keeps doing it,
Yeah,
so he must be getting a lot of attention.
and that's a great idea because that might get me. That might be that. Well, that's a loophole that they cannot regulate. They
Yeah.
can't
So
regulate.
if you go off campus, can you? Is there a location where you think off campus would be a good place for a sign?
So I'm not. I mean, I'm not on campus. So
Oh, I thought you were. Or I thought you were like
I, I'm 6/10 of a mile from campus.
state college.
Uh, yeah. So State College. Funny enough, that the university has its own is technically its own town,
Oh, okay.
University Park, Pennsylvania, because in the 60s, the president or something like that, his brother was like the attorney, the post office general, master general
I
of the
know.
United
Yeah,
States of
right.
America, and some odd thing that they wanted. There was some feud between the town and the university, and so the university said they were going to become their own town,
That's
and
great.
so yeah, the University Park, the actual campus, has its own zip code and is considered a different town than State
Interesting.
College.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, so it's an oddity for sure. Um, so yeah, so I yeah, that is a fantastic idea because, I mean, I obviously drive around town quite often, and so
Sure.
the bigger the back window, maybe I can the more I can fill up that back window, the better the billboard, right?
And like I said, I go to signs.com. You can get one for probably like $20, $30. Big
Yeah,
too.
because I was
So
getting good responses from it,
yeah, I'm
and
sure. I'm sure you were.
the nice thing is that if I'm selling out and about, like I'll be selling in Belfont this weekend, my vehicle can be parked in that lot the whole time. Um,
Yep.
so that's cool.
Yeah, and if it's a QR code and your phone number, nobody's gonna steal it.
Yep, and I have a phone number. Yeah, I have a phone number. I even have a business phone number through Google, that's unique, and essentially it just piggybacks off my cell phone, but it is a unique number.
Yeah,
So
I got a Google Voice number too. They're handy.
so yeah, that's a great idea,
Go
guys.
for
I'm
it.
going to become a tycoon.
Nice.
So, how about any thoughts about what the outlet is for you? I mean, I know you were wavering a little bit on flea market for this coming year. So, are you are you thinking about
If I can get
kind of
some
do some small cons, or what is
I'll
the
tell you
outlet for
what,
you?
I'm really gonna do some research and look into starting a con on my own. I have said that I learned from my dad I'd rather be self-employed than work for anybody else. I feel like it's better to start my own con than to join somebody else's. I know, you know what I mean.
Sure.
So I would look at that route first and exhaust it and see if it's viable.
So, how about the folks from the Anna's card show, right? What would it take to start a small con where they do the baseball card show?
It's not a bad idea, but how many tables were there? That was pretty small. But yeah, you're right.
Still had a bid, what, 50 tables there?
Yeah,
It's
maybe.
enough. Certainly enough. Like, because that's really where you want to start too. You want to have it be small enough where you can manage everything,
Mhm.
you know, in a kind of a known location so you can advertise. Um, I mean, hell,
It's not. You're
many,
absolutely right. It's a serviceable room.
you got so many people, and plus they're already used to, the parking lot was big enough. They're used to having those types of events there. So even the church, I'm sure, has like, it's a pretty standard thing where the church already knows, like,
Yeah.
this is what we'll provide kind of thing. And you have so many shops locally that I'm sure would allow you to leave, you know, quarter page flyers. You have so many locally that you could advertise a lot with physical flyers, kick it old school, and then some, some kind of targeted, whether it's Instagram or Facebook ads. I think that might be a way that you could start something locally relatively easy. And just think about the convenience for you. I mean, that's what, a mile and a half from your house.
Well, the place I was
So
looking at is maybe just a couple minutes more, but yeah, you're right. It's really close.
I just think about the fact that that like I said, the establishment, the church itself is already used to those things, and um, and I know how expensive a lot of people can um, a lot of those like hotel rooms and stuff like that. The price can just be really prohibitive
Well,
right
you
off the
got
jump.
you got to rent all the tables.
Right, right,
That's
yeah.
where I hear the big cost is. Like you get the room is one cost. Now you got to rent all the tables is another cost.
Now, that's another thing about that church, right? Like, I'm
I'm
sure
sure
the
they had the
church
tables there or in a closet where you could just say
Or the
like,
church
yeah,
owns those tables, right? So,
yeah,
so even if you have to rent them there, it's the rental. There is no transportation for the rentals and stuff like that, right?
right, exactly.
So, because I think I know, we have in my at my work in my building, we have a big event space, and we own our tables. Obviously, the university owns our tables, but there's a humongous rental business here in
Yeah,
State College for everything and anything. And most of the time, those smaller hotels, they don't have storage space, and that's why they
right.
don't have those
Yeah,
tables.
that makes sense too, right? Because then they have to
Or
bring
if,
them in
if
and
they
out.
own tables, then they typically own rounds because they're going to do weddings and receptions as opposed to,
Yeah,
something like a con or a trade show,
yeah.
right? And so fewer the rectangular and more of the round table. So yeah, it's something to consider. But yeah, it'd be really interesting to do. I can tell you what, I would probably vend at your first show
Yeah, of
if you did
course.
well. So I'd come out. Um,
You know what? I gotta look. I gotta look into that. I'll give them a call and see.
I know you were friends with actually quite a few of the car
Yeah,
dealers
and they
there.
know the guy that because they've been doing that
Okay,
show for years and years.
good.
I bet Fred or Dale could put me in touch with that guy and see if I can use him as an outlet or just go at it on my own.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was wondering if you had ever, because I know you said you visited that thing with even with your dad when you were little, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know whether you knew those organizers or not. Could be completely different organizers from when
They
you were a
also
kid.
may not want me because I'm not like in their congregation. Like maybe that guy is part of that church and they have a special relationship. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I have to look into it.
So yeah. So that's what's up. There's
That's that.
nothing on the immediate horizon. I may attend with the kids. I may attend Steel City Con is not this weekend, but next
Oh yeah,
weekend
that one looked really cool, man.
in Pittsburgh. So
Yeah, that
um,
lineup is amazing.
I have inquired about. I have inquired about. Well, I shouldn't say inquired. I have submitted the request to be on the waiting list for tables as a vendor there. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes really
Yeah,
to
still.
go to Pittsburgh, so it's not crazy far or anything. Um, by the way, I owned zero of this book, and now I own like 12
I think I just.
from just this one collect.
Oh no, I
From
have
just
this
this
one.
one collection, I own like
Oh wait,
all
hold on,
between all the,
hold on.
between all the
No,
covers.
wait a minute. I can't see. Damn.
have you ever gotten a newsstand of any of these?
No. Do I
So
get it? Nope.
um I got one newsstand. I have the Magneto newsstand. Um, I'm assuming the other covers are at the Boys and Girls Club because
Probably, yeah.
I got the Magneto newsstand, but that guy was buying everything.
Yeah, what are the newsstands? Because those are pretty low print, right?
Yeah, it is kind of incredible the distribution between direct and newsstand on that book,
Oh
considering
yeah,
how many of that
it's
book
like
there is.
4 million of the one, and then it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, like 100,000 of the
hundred.
other
I was
or
gonna say
something.
100,000 of the other one. It's crazy.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That's
Yeah,
where
that's
I'm
pretty
at
much
right
it.
now. I got this coming up this weekend. Might go out hunting a little bit. Um, did talk to this is something I didn't get to cover with you. So I talked to a frequent customer of mine, and and he's a big ASM collector, and he has shown me a couple gorgeous like ASM books that he recently picked up.
Hmm.
He got a first Scorpion uh, raw,
Nice.
and and he met the older gentleman who owned the collection, has 1 through 100 of
Wow.
ASM, and was starting to move them, and and yeah, if I get to talk to this fella, you might get a call about like whether or not we have to go together to like
Yeah, we
try
might have
and
to
get
go in
the
together.
ASM one, because I don't think he's not at. It's not like he's giving away, but I don't think he's asking anywhere near what it's worth. Um, and uh,
Yeah, I might have
and
to find some
he's,
money.
yeah, right. Like at least it was talked to me that they're kind of all in mid grade condition, and I was really shocked at ASM one in mid grade how much that book's
Mid
worth.
grade, dude. Rick's is a 3.5. It's a $20,000 book.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's another one of my bucket list books. That one's gonna be hard to get.
That was
That's
actually really shocking to me that was not something that you have found.
Well, I had my sights on AF-15 the whole time,
Right,
and that was gonna
right.
be like the next book I get. So that one I might have to sell some books, or or a trade like with Henry if he came across one, because I'd give him some of my FF, maybe my Doom, to get an ASM one. I'd probably do that. Always go with the good guy over the bad guy anyway. Give him his Doom and get an ASM one.
What if you could like what if you could turn like that your like you get it graded, you could turn your high grade Raza Ghul into a
That's a great
low or mid
Yeah, it's
grade,
a
right?
great question. What is a 9.6 Raza goal going for?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Probably like
That's not
five, maybe five.
yeah.
Because I
So
know a 9.8's going for I think 15, something like that.
yeah, it's just my
I
like
don't know
thinking
if
about how can you maintain the books that you really love and want to like
Well,
your
that's a
bigger
great
Marvel.
example. Even that, like the Green Lantern '87. That's another example. Like I have two of them. There's no
Mhm.
reason why I need two of them. I can always sell
Yep,
one. I have two Man Bats 400. I
yep.
I definitely don't need the lesser one. There's one with a tear on the back. Um, but
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't have enough inventory right now, or I don't own enough of those kinds of keys.
yeah,
Right now, I'm kind of like $10 to $50 rich in my
yeah,
inventory. But like once I start doing some cons this year, I'm hoping to start converting to at least for my personal collection, getting it really pared down to bigger keys, and and then as a business, obviously having to you know I really think as a business, I would love to make my bread and butter be
yeah.
those $10 to $100 books, to just always have lots of those books in inventory. Um, when we were at Very Gary's stand at NYC, it was really cool. I mean, he obviously has mega keys, and they were really nice
Yeah, I wonder
books.
what's in his PC though, because he really just flips everything.
I mean, he really PCs those couple of characters, right? He PCs Batman, he PCs Thor.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And stuff like that. But it was really impressive looking through his boxes because like there was such a wealth of those,
Yeah,
30, 50, $100, $150 keys. Like
yeah,
I mean, just
yeah.
voluminous amounts
Plus,
of those
even the
kinds of
even
books.
the wall books, he had 20 stacks of slabs ready to go every time a wall book came down. So it's like,
Right.
I mean, he
So
put the
yeah,
best up there, but he had a lot like in the chamber.
yeah, it's really cool to be able to build that kind of inventory. Like I'm actually really confident right now in overall my boxes when I sell out at some when I'm selling out at some place because I know like there's not a lot of people selling comics in my area, and right now when I come to a show, I'm really confident in the quality of the stuff I have.
Yeah, you got good
Like
stuff.
so
I still got to get
so
that Peacemaker slab too. It's another good one.
yeah, that's another really nice book. Well, I have the books I left for Jimmy. Um, there's like probably um, probably like five uh, economy that I want to fast track. So you have to look and see if there's not like a couple books that you want to do, and we'll send those together. I mean, there's not
Yeah,
any
no,
discount.
I'll probably I'll piggyback. I've been loading everything together too. I try to do like 3 or 4 accounts at the same time. Like, if you want to send stuff in, I'll probably try to do stuff. I got Kadoo's got a bunch. Jackie's got a book. I know Crumbs has a few that he wants to submit, so
Yeah.
I could definitely do all you guys at the same time. I got to look at Jackie's got another Edge of the Spider Verse too.
Oh, that's cool.
Kadoo's came back a 9.8, so she's like, "Well, I got one. Let me see if I can get a 9.8." Kadoo sold his to Rick though. He sold it for like
The,
700. I was like, "What are you
what?
doing?" I said, "What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "I need the money."
Why?
He said he needed the money. I said, "I understand. I get it." He's like, "I want to."
Yeah,
He said he wanted to get Christmas presents and stuff like that, so he needed the
yeah, but that
cash.
book is so liquid. Why didn't he just sell it himself?
I don't know.
He sells it on eBay. He makes it like enticing at like I don't know 1100 and gives up 13% to eBay. He's still $250 to the good.
I know, but whatever. I didn't give him a hard time. Obviously he
Yeah,
needed the money.
brutal. I'd love to buy that book for $700.
I know. Anyway, all right, man.
All right. Well,
That's about
thanks
it
for
for
joining
tonight.
me, buddy. Ralph, thank you so much for the
Yeah,
comments.
Rafaus, thanks for participating.
Oh, we
We
didn't
still
find
got
out
to
which
get him on here. We'll get him on here one day.
we didn't find out which book he had, or we didn't ask him which were the book. Did we find out which of the top 10 books he had?
No, we didn't. I think he's gone too,
Yeah, I
because he
think
hasn't
he
said
did.
anything in a while. But either way,
Yeah,
we'll get Rafaust on here, and then I know we'll get James on here too soon. I want to get James on here though when we're all together. Lobo,
sure.
Rafaust is here. Nice.
Lobo.
You got to join us one day, man.
Sorry for talking so much trash on it, Ralph. Hopefully you got yours at the flea market
Yes, for $1.
for $1.
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it, man. All right, well, guys, talk to you soon. I have
All
been
right.
talking to the boys about doing a giveaway. So, like, maybe bringing up a comic that we'll give away in the next chat. We'll either, like, spin the wheel or whatever.
Sure.
So if you're in the chat, we'll do, like, a book. I don't know. I'll pick something. I got plenty of these Black Panthers. We'll pick
Yeah, and
something.
I can
Plus,
always.
I still got that John Tyler Christopher Boba Fett. That guy in post
Oh,
office
right.
would not accept his address, no matter how hard I tried.
Well, he was in Brazil.
He was in
Was it?
Brazil or Colombia. They just would not let him. His address had too many characters. So he's like, he even said he's like, whatever, man. It's all good, no problem. I tried. I really tried to get it to him. But anyway, I still
Yeah.
got
Well,
that John Tyler Christopher book somewhere.
yeah, and I can always, I can certainly can find some
Yeah.
books to put in too. So.
All right. Cool. All right, guys.
Yeah, buddy.
See you next week. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you
Thanks
next
for
time.
joining.
All right, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Peace.